I've sent you some files in the folder 01 Fish Assets, and I've sent you also just a group of other files. And one of the files I've sent you is the AE project zip. So double click that to unzip the folder. And now you'll have a folder called AE project with subfolders. This is what I want you to use to organize your projects from now on. You can use a different folder for each project, but I want you to use the folder made from this folder. So you will take this folder and we're going to call this one last name, first initial, and AE tutorials. So my last name, first initial, underscore AE tutorials. And now this has subfolders in it. This folder is your project folder. You'll save your project file to this folder. This folder is your video folder. Any videos you plan to import or export will be in this folder. This is your audio folder. This will include any sound files, WAV, AIFF, MP3, etc. You'll put those in there. Any of the files that will be compatible with After Effects, you can just put them straight into the audio folder. Layered PSD AI, that's for your Photoshop or Illustrator files that have layers that you are going to use as a basis for your animations. Flat images, this is where you would put files that don't have layers, so JPEGs, GIF files, any kind of PNG files, any kind of flat file that doesn't have any layers in it. And then provided files, this would be where you would put files that are provided to you by the client that are important to be used for the project. So logos or corporate building pictures or some kind of like letterheads that they want you to use in the animation. So that is what you do with your project file. Put it into your project file folder and you keep track of everything that you're using. All of your assets will be in the subfolders here. So now I want you to copy the files from the fish assets. So in order to get that, I'm going to open another project or another Finder window so I can look at it. And I'll open up Fish Assets. And from the Fish Assets folder, I'm going to drag Bubbles MP3 to the Audio folder, Fish 01 AI to the Layered folder, Oceano 33 and Freshwater Fish to the Flat Files, Flat Images folder. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to get one of the files. I want to open the freshwater fish JPEG in Photoshop. So right click, open with Photoshop. Now you want to use the quick selection tool. Also W is one of the shortcut keystrokes you can use. And you're going to select one of the fish, and I'm going to choose one that has good color, so it'll be fun to work with. So let's see, we got flathead pike, trout, walleye. So I'm going to select my walleye. I'm returning it across it. So make sure you have a small enough nib on your selection tool. If it's too big, it'll choose too many things. And once you get most of it done, you can click on the edges that it doesn't get and try to get those added. And now I'm going to zoom into it. That's good. Go back to my selection tool and I'm going to refine edge. Refine edge is up here in the options bar at the top of the window. I'm going to give it a little bit of tweaking so I can get a good radius, tiny bit of feather, make some edge a little smoother. And then I'm going to decontaminate colors. And I'm going to output it to a new document. We don't need the layer mask, so I'm just going to say new document. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to say OK. And there you see it's down there. It's the same size as the original file, which we don't need that whole file, and it's huge. But we're going to use the cropping tool, and we're going to crop it so that there's a good amount of space around it, because we're going to make this fish swim, so we want to have room for him to move. That looks pretty good. I'm going to accept that. And if you double click on the hand tool, it'll make it as big as it can be in the window. Now it's rasterized, but that's okay because it's going to be small, and the small area that it fills will not look like that because it'll be much tinier. Now you want to make sure that it's going to be big enough to fit in what we're doing, and we want to make sure therefore that it's about image size in pixels 450 wide, and we're real close. We'll change that. Okay. And then we want to change the height without changing the proportions, so we're going to go to image canvas size. And this will just cut off some of it, and I'm going to make this pixels. And I want it to be 250p high. And now I want it to stay in the middle, so that's a good anchor point. Okay. Yes, we want to cut off part. Good. And now we're going to go ahead and save this. We want to save this as fish02. File, save as fish02. Make sure it's going into your layered PSD AI folder, and then select save. Okay. So that's done. Now we want to do some more. We want to edit some more. So now we want to open up the Oceano 33. Okay, so we'll select that and we'll open that up. Now we want to use image canvas size to crop the image because I know already that this is image size. This is already 1280 wide, and we want it 1280 wide. We want to change the height. So, since the width is correct, we just want to change the height. We're going to use canvas size. And now we're going to change this once again to pixels so we can see what we're doing. We want it to be 720 high. Now we get to choose, do we want it to be at the top or at the bottom? If you want to retain the top, you would put your dot up here. And that's where your anchor point will be. If you want it to be down here, then you put the anchor down there. I want it to be very deep water. Okay, so now I'm going to say, okay, proceed. There it is. And now we're going to file, save this as, because we want to keep the original one, though we're not using it to put in. We just want to make sure it's still available in case. And we want to put that back into the flat images because we haven't given it any layers. But we're going to call it Ocean 720. Save. And you can keep it at quality 10, but I think quality 8 is going to be enough because we really aren't going to need it to be that high quality. Okay. Okay. Now you can go ahead and sign up a Photoshop.